Hello, welcome back. Okay, here we are back together for another half hour. Yes, this is the third half hour of today's Monday edition of Richard Vaughan Live. It's 8:30 in the morning. Well, it's 8:31 in the morning. In the morning, most of the people who are listening to me right now are probably in their cars. I hope you're enjoying the traffic. Yes, the traffic. It's interesting, the other day, a lady was talking about the traffic jams. And I always have to explain to people that a traffic jam is a, ¿cómo se dice puntual? Es que puntual en inglés es un atasco puntual en un momento puntual. Now, in this case, we don't say punctual, because in English, puntual, puntual es puntualidad de llegar a tiempo, de llegar a la hora. Punctuality. So it's a specific moment when the traffic becomes congested in a specific point. For example, if normally the traffic is fluid on the corner of 5th Avenue and 31st Street in Manhattan, normally there's no problem. The traffic is moving on the intersection of 31st Street and 5th Avenue in Manhattan. But if something happens, if there's an accident, it can cause a traffic jam. Se atasca. A traffic jam. Now that's a traffic jam. For me, that's how I perceive the word traffic jam. A traffic jam is unexpected and not usual. Now, heavy traffic or traffic congestion or simply the word traffic means el atasco general. That means congestión de tráfico general. Traffic congestion. When you talk about the entrances to Madrid, there are maybe eight. I would say 8 major entrances to Madrid. The 6 national highways, Burgos, Coruña, going in clockwise, go clockwise. The Burgos is N1, National 1, and then the Barcelona Highway, National 2. The Valencia Highway is National 3. The Andalusian Highway is National 4. The Extremadura Highway is National 5. And the Coruña Highway is National 6. So that's 6. But I think we need to add 2 more major entrances, which is the Toledo Highway and the Colmenar Highway in the north. The Toledo Highway in the south and the Colmenar Highway in the north are 2 additional major principales entradas, major. And so the traffic is very heavy, often bumper to bumper. Bumper to bumper is a common expression. Parachoque. Parachoque means una fila de coches. And that you find that maybe between 7:20, 7:30, or 7:15 in the morning, up to maybe 9 o'clock. It's very heavy. And on some of the entrances, maybe like Extremadura, it could be even more. It starts earlier, 7 o'clock or before. And so we call that heavy traffic congestion, but I don't say traffic jam. Me personally, I don't. For me, traffic jam is a momentary or a specific point because of some unexpected event that it creates a traffic jam. And there's one street, for example, in which most of the day there's a certain certain congestion. That's what they call José Abascal. It's a street in Madrid in which over a section of maybe 400 or 500 meters, it's always backed up. And some taxi drivers call the street José Atascal. All right, but in any case, heavy traffic. So most of you, la mayoría de ustedes, most of, fíjense cómo uso la T, most of, Mustafa, most of you, view, como point of view. Vamos a mirar la fonética de esta expresión tan corriente, la mayoría de ustedes o de vosotros. Most of you, point of view, most of you. Es fácil, una vez conocido el truco. Most of you. Some of you, algunos de ustedes, a few of you, unos cuantos de ustedes, a few of you, none of you, ninguno de ustedes, none of you, todos ustedes, todos vosotros, all of you, pero lo importante es view, con V, view, que se pronuncia como una F, few, vibrando las cuerdas vocales a la vez, view. Remember, the English V. If you want to master the English V, go to the dictionary, to the V's, and say the words with an F. Vine, fine. Say the F. Of victory. Dilo con F escalada. La victoria. Y luego activa las cuerdas vocales. La victoria. And you practice. Varios vampiros valencianos. And you can practice the V. It's not a difficult phonetic sound to make, but because most Spanish speakers have never made that sound in their life. Maybe they're 30 years old and you've never made the V sound in your life. It's not difficult to make, but because you've never made it, you need to practice and force to develop a new habit. Varios vampiros valencianos vaporizaron a 20 viajeros. Yeah, various Valencian vampires vaporized 20 visitors. Bueno, viajeros, visitantes, visitors in a violent vendaval. Okay, and you can practice your V. Vaughan. Yes, la gente dice my last name. Always. They say, ¿cómo se pronuncia su apellido? I say Vaughan. No, pero en España no, fuera. De Vaughan. ¿Cómo? Vaughan. Vaughan, o sea, alemán. No. Vaughan is Welsh. Galés. There are 3 Welsh branches and 1 Irish branch. And I think my name is from one of the Welsh branches. The Rama Galesa. So, Welsh Vaughan. In Shakespeare, I think in Henry V, you have Sir Thomas Vaughan. I think it's in Henry V. We can find out. So it's an old name. Yes, I think it's Sir Thomas Vaughan in Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Que es agita lanzas. Thomas Vaughan. All right. In Shakespeare's Richard III. I didn't know that. Here we are. Sir Thomas Vaughan was a Welsh statesman and diplomat. Hombre, how do you say diplomat? Diplomado. No, how do you say diplomat? Miembro del cuerpo diplomático. Who rose to prominence before and during the War of the Roses. Yes. He began as an adherent of Jasper Tudor, los Tudores, and King Henry VI of England, and was appointed to several offices by Henry. He was nonetheless a Yorkist by inclination, as were many Welshmen of the time, and after the Yorkist victory in 1461, he became a loyal and important servant of King Edward IV. In 1483, he was executed by Richard III as part of his seizure of the throne. Dice apresar el trono, to seize the throne. Okay, so, and he was in Shakespeare, by the way, in Richard III. In Shakespeare's Richard III, Vaughan's ghost appears to the king on the eve of the Battle of Bosworth. Vaughan's ghost in Richard III. And I've read Richard III. I read it in college or in high school. But since then I haven't read it because I don't like the story. I don't like the story of Ricardo III. Richard III is one of the famous tragedies by Shakespeare. Well, it's a historical. Shakespeare wrote 3 types of plays. Tragedies, historical plays, and comedies. The largest group was comedies. But Richard III is included in the historical, but it's basically a tragedy. Really, it's very bloody. Because Richard III is portrayed by Shakespeare as a bad guy. He kills the children of one of his opponents, and so he's a bad guy. Let's see. Vaughan in Richard III. All right. Let's see. Everything you ever wanted to know about Vaughan and Richard III. Okay. And he gives a summary of everything. Maybe he was one of my ancestors. All the speeches and lines by Sir Thomas Vaughan. My father's name was Thomas Vaughan. My grandfather's name was Thomas Vaughan. And my great-grandfather's name was Thomas Vaughan. But my great-great-grandfather's name was Alexander Vaughan. All right. You live that shall cry woe for this after. So that's one of the lines by one of my ancestors. Yes, according to Shakespeare. According to Shakespeare. But in any case, I need to sit down and finish reading some of Shakespeare's plays. I still have a few I haven't read. I haven't read Henry V, which is a very good play. I would like to read The Tempest again. That's my favorite, La Tempestad. Although many critics don't usually consider The Tempest among Shakespeare's best. But I do. Because it was Shakespeare's next to last play. He was a veteran playwright. And he knew he was approaching the end of his career. He knew that he was approaching, pasado continuo. Sabía que se acercaba a. He knew that he was approaching the end of his career. Carrera profesional de dramaturgo. In a way, we could say that he was in the twilight of his career. Beautiful word, interesting word, twilight. The twilight zone. Twilight means, sabía que estaba en el ocaso de su carrera. Twilight, strange word in English to tell you the truth. Twilight is the soft light from the sky when the sun is below the horizon, or the period in the morning or evening during which this soft light prevails. The period that marks the end or close of something as a career. The twilight of his career. In Spanish, I think you'd say el ocaso. El crepúsculo, el crepúsculo de su carrera profesional. El ocaso. Yes. It's interesting here in Spain, there's a very well-known insurance company, life insurance, pero sobre todo decesos, what you call burial insurance, called Ocaso. Very, very good company, I think. Very strong. Ocaso. It's a nice name, you know, Ocaso. That's, the end. It's the end. The twilight of your life. But in any case, I think Shakespeare, when he wrote The Tempest, was in the twilight of his career. He knew this. He retired from writing when he was 49. He died when he was 52 in Stratford-on-Avon. And he didn't write anything after that. The only things we have was a very simple one-page last will and testament, última voluntad y testamento, last will and testament, one page, and his what do you call it? His epitaph, su epitafio. And his epitaph is very simple. It's 4 lines. Shakespeare's, let's find it. Shakespeare's epitafio. Epitaph. Oof. I can't spell it. Come on. Epitaph. Shakespeare's epitaph. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see if we can find it. Come on. God, good friends. Well, let me find it in normal English. It's written in Middle English. Good friends, for Jesus' sake, forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man who spares these stones, and cursed be the man who moves my bones. Al final, rima. Good friend, buen amigo, por Jesús, o sea, por Dios, o sea, por el amor de Jesús. Deténgase de cavar el polvo aquí encerrado. Bendito el hombre que deje estas piedras en su sitio, y maldito el hombre que mueva mis huesos. Good friend, for Jesus' sake, forbear is an old word in English. Forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed is maldito, be he who moves my bones. All right. And that's the last thing, apparently, that Shakespeare wrote in his life. Yes, let me see if I can find a more modern version of that. Yes. I can't find a more modern version in this particular the page from the internet. Yes. Shakespeare's epitaph. Let me see if I can find another more modern. Good friends, for Jesus' sake, forbear to dig the bones enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones, and cursed be he, or cursed be he that moves my bones. All right. That was Shakespeare when he died when he was 52 years old. And his productive period was a period of about 24 years or 26 years. Maybe from 1588 to 1611 or something, 1610, something like that. He was very productive. 1612 maybe, from 24 years. And he wrote he wrote 900,000 words. 900,000 words. I've spoken about this several times before in the past on this radio. Shakespeare, now the internet, computer technology allows quick counting of the words. Shakespeare wrote about 160 sonnets, 160 sonetos, something like that. A lot of sonnets. He wrote 2 or 3 epic poems, long poems, The Rape of the Lock, and I can't remember the other. And then, of course, all of his plays. And it adds up to about close to almost 900,000 words, which divided by 24 years, divided by 365 days, gives you about 100 words per day. So if Shakespeare had written his complete works on a daily basis, he would have needed to write a minimum of 100 words per day. Well, no, a minimum, no. He needed to average 100 words a day. And that's very easy. It's very easy to write 100 words. The difficult thing is to write. If they tell me, sometimes the newspapers or magazines say, we want an article from you, Richard. And I say, okay, but how many words? And they tell me. They say 1,000 words. Or sometimes they say 8,000 caracteres, espacios incluidos. Because they have a very special sensitivity to space. And so I need to to write an article of only 1,000 words. And sometimes it's not easy. Eh? It depends on the subject. It depends on what you want to convey, transmitir. And sometimes it's not easy to I'm not a professional writer necessarily. But a poet can convey incredible feelings, incredible meanings in a short poem. So you don't need necessarily to, you don't need 1,000 words necessarily to convey what you want to convey. You have the expression, we say brevity is the soul of wit. Brevity is the soul of wit. La brevedad es el alma del intelecto, wit o de la inteligencia. You have the expression, lo bueno si breve dos veces bueno. So you have those. So in both languages, in Spanish and in English, we appeal to the attractiveness of being brief. I have trouble being brief because I end up saying the same thing 20 different ways. I like using metaphors and parallelisms and analogies, and I constantly move around the same concept 17 different ways in order to convey. And I think I overdo it. I think I aturdo a mis públicos a veces. Se queda aturdido. Too many metaphors, too many parallelisms, too many analogies. And finally said, ¿de qué me hablaba este chico? Yeah, what did he talk to me about? Because I don't convey it directly. You need to study. If you want to improve your English, study. There are no shortcuts. No hay atajos. Okay. But I say it and I can talk for an hour about that. But let's go on with the past continuous and the simple past. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, so, él bajaba de su coche cuando la bomba estalló. He was getting out of his car when the bomb went off. To go off, or when the bomb exploded. But I think it's more common to say the bomb went off. No, la bomba no estalló. It didn't go off. He was getting out of his car. Getting out. To get out of your car, to get into your car. Get out of your car. Get into your car. So he was getting out of his car when, boom, the bomb went off. But he wasn't hurt. He wasn't injured. Yo iba al cine cuando me encontré con Morgan. I was going to the movie theater. I was going to the movies. En inglés americano se dice movies. Las movidas. The movies. I was going to the movies when I ran into Morgan. I said, Morgan, what are you doing here? I've come to collect. To collect what? To collect the money you owe me. Well, listen, Morgan, I don't have enough money on me right now. Well, I'm sorry, but you're coming with me. So, I was going to the movies when I ran into Morgan. I was going. ¿A dónde ibas cuando te encontraste con Morgan? Where were you going when you ran into... No se puede decir meet aquí. I was going to the movies when I met Morgan. Tiene poco sentido. Y tiene dos interpretaciones. Iba al cine cuando conocí por vez primera a Morgan. Okay, es un poco raro. I was going to the movie when I met Morgan. Hello, my name is Richard Vaughan. And you? My name is Morgan. All right. I was going to the movies when I met Morgan. The other usage of to meet is quedar con alguien. Y yo no había quedado con Morgan. Fue casual el encuentro. So, entonces no puedo decir met. Podría ser, que quedamos en la esquina al lado del cine. We met. Where first I met Morgan on the corner and then we went together to see the movie. All right, but no. I was on my way to the movie. I was going to the movie. I was on my way. Estaba camino de. I was on my way, or on the way. Cuando dices estás en camino, o están ellos en camino, se puede personalizar con el adjetivo posesivo my, your, his. I was on my way to the movies, o sin. I was on the way. I was on the way to the movies, I was on my way to the cinema, the British would say, when I ran into Morgan. Yes. Murieron cuando reparaban los cables. Oh, be careful, electricity. They died when they were repairing the cables. Be careful when you repair cables. It's high voltage. Voltaje. Alto voltaje. High voltage. And boom. It can kill you instantly sometimes. Alta tensión. High tension. No, we say high voltage. And I don't know if there's a difference. I'm not an electrician between tensión y voltaje. I imagine there is. I'll be right back.